Edmonton Oilers, for the third straight season, have eliminated the LA Kings in the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs.
3 years in a row. We came into the series talking about third time's a charm or 3 strikes you're out, and now we know the answer to that. Edmonton wins it in 5 games.
Drew, about 4 years ago, sat here and said, making the playoffs is not making the playoffs is getting old.
Yeah.
Which is worse, not making the playoffs or failing 3 years in a row in the playoffs?
I would say not making the playoffs is worse, but they both suck. Yeah, our whole objective this season was to win the first round and see what we could do going forward, and it's unfortunate we were unable to do that.
Every one of us is invested in the team. You want to see the team advance. So when you lose right at first, it's just disappointing, right? You're kind of like, oh, well, this is the last game that we get to have this year, and that's tough.
It's always hard when you don't meet the expectation, meet the goals, which, certainly wasn't met this year. So it's just another off season now. It's what it is.
Just like the players, I don't want to say the training or the preparation compare, but you do build into a season. You get yourself all prepared for it, and you prepare to go all the way through. So when the end is final and abrupt, it hurts a little bit. It stings for a little bit.
What's a day like this like for you? You've had lots of them, but to know that this closes the door on the season. What's it like to walk out here today?
I mean, it's still, it's not fun. Like it's weird. I fully expected to be playing in a game today again, and we're not.
Deja vu all over again. Stop me if you've heard this before. Third straight season, Jim. 10th time overall, the Kings meet the Oilers in the postseason.
To me, the recipe was depth scoring. The Oilers have their big guys, and you can't match up against McDavid, Draisaitl, like mano-a-mano. But if the Kings executed as designed, they were a team that was a difficult matchup for another reason, which is because if you have those 2 centers, the Kings have 3. 3 guys who, if 2 of them are going to match up against, say, Connor and Leon, there's a line that does not have that matchup, that's playing against a lower line, that on paper, that was the matchup the Kings could have been able to exploit.
Henrique sends it across.
I think there's a problem with the mask right now, Skinner.
Nice move, McDavid centers! Shot, score!
Game 1 was wild. Strengths became weaknesses really fast. The Kings gave up, I think, 3 power play goals, and the Kings defended through the neutral zone, in their own words, probably about as poorly as they did all season.
As McDavid let it go now, another chance, score!
Edmonton played the game on their terms. It was high-flying, high-octane, exactly the way the Oilers wanted to play that series. That was game 1.
I didn't question the heart and the grit out of our guys tonight, just maybe be a little smarter in certain situations to give up less.
We've gone through this, over the last couple months of the season where we've had a game, whoever it had been, where we didn't play well at all, and we were disappointed. And I'm here to tell you that every time we've had one of those, we've come back with a strong effort. So we're going to have to do that tonight. We've been through that, but we're going to have to be much better than we were tonight. That's very clear.
Is that James? Hey, James. Hall of Famer, Jim Matheson right here. It could be better. Could be up 1. Just one of those games where it was not. You have to give them credit, but Kings did not play well. They got more than a few guys skating. That's
When you win, they're all up there.
yeah, that's right. You're never tired when you win. Well, I'm just going to go and take a little listen. I can hear them already, so I know they're not inside the room yet. You can hear the. So there's the team we beat, Darrell Evans, Miracle on Manchester. We ticked them off so much that they ended up winning 5 of the next 7 Stanley Cups, I think. So
20 seconds to go in the game. Simmer behind the Oiler net. Front to Dion, he shoots, save, rebound, loose puck, Gretzky with it. Can't hold it, taken away by Fox. Fox in front, to the blue line to Harding. He shoots, save, rebound, score!
the line I was on, my matchups I had were against Messi and Anderson. Gretz would laugh about this. I'm almost begging to play against Gretz because I could catch him.
There's no doubt that history does carry on because, let's face it, none of these guys played years ago when the rivalry built.
Puck comes around. Semenko didn't clear it up the middle. Dave Lewis, pass in front, score! Tipped in by Jimmy Fox.
Messi and Anderson, just so fast. The skill level was, at that point, at that time, incredible. Hey, Koff, what's happening?
Drafted the same year.
Really, eh?
Yeah. Hey, Paige Jim. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Fox has been with LA for
44 years.
I love it.
Everything good?
He's great. I just
Yeah.
got to talk
Okay.
to him. We'll
Go
see
get
you
it.
around.
Okay. So he played on the same teams as Gratz, Hall of Fame. We would game plan as much for Coffey as we did for Gretzky because he was a defenseman that took the puck all the way up the ice. So he started their attack, he ended their attack. So the actual flow up the ice, he was maybe as important. So we would, when we had our game plans, it was based a lot on Coffey as opposed to the other guys.
Just because the two franchises have had that history, the amount of times that they played in the postseason, the players that they've exchanged, it does bring a little extra attention to the series.
Camera crews right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I would say at least 4 during the regular season. So it's not as much because you probably have French TV that you wouldn't have necessarily in the regular season. And then you'll have the Hockey Night in Canada or whatever they have here. And then, but the locals are here all the time.
It's very different going from, a practice in February when everybody that's there is myself and our broadcast crew on the road. In the playoffs, it's a big scrum. There are no quote-unquote exclusives, so you're really asking your one question amidst that group of 30. If you even get one in, you have to kind of be very specific with narratives.
What do you pull from right now?
When you're the, say, one of maybe 5 people that goes into a post-practice or post-game scrum and, you get a couple of questions, it's one thing, but all of a sudden you're looking at 20, 30 people. They're all got their microphones in and everybody's trying to get a word in edgewise. It's great. It pulls you into it. It excites you. And I like the adrenaline rush of being involved in it. The closer I am to it, the more exciting it gets.
Yeah, you got it.
Jim, a lot of times you talk about video clips and balancing it. Was it tough to balance last night with positives and negatives, or did you?
No, the guys know. They were on the bench. They know what went on, but we had a video session. We looked and saw, the one area of the game that we thought we really struggled with and that we need to improve. They agreed. They saw it. They knew it probably beforehand. And so we put that away to bed, and then we'll start fresh tomorrow.
And once again, we are in Edmonton, Alberta, and Rogers Place, where tonight it's Game 2 of this first-round series. It's the LA Kings and Edmonton Oilers. The Oilers, Connor McDavid, blah, 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 with a career-high 5 assists.
How's the timing?
Yeah, Jim and I have been part of every single Kings-Oiler playoff series over the last, 42 years. The Kings have played Edmonton more times in the playoffs than any opponent. It's now 10 times. We're all fans, right? You get pumped up for the playoffs. It's a great brand of hockey. The hits are harder. The intensity is there night after night, shift after shift. And every goal could be the difference, not only in a game, but it could decide a series.
Pass,
Anderson, and it rolled off his stick.
Connector, but again, the breakout was there.
Held in. Kempe shoots and scores! And the Kings have an early lead.
Game 2 was excellent, right? I think the Kings got back to their own identity. Their big guns were their big guns.
Here's Kempe right up the middle. Kempe to Kopitar. Kopitar back in front. Kempe scores! Doughty in. Doughty, a chance, and he scores! Drew Doughty!
If you said, hey, name 4 guys who can impact this series, Kopitar, Kempe, Fiala, Doughty, right off the bat, like those are your big names.
Into the middle, hands it off, shot, save Talbot!
Kings got leadership and performance from their best guys.
Off the wall, Byfield tipped it, moving in, shot, score! Andrei Kopitar! Overtime winner!
If you go to Edmonton, games 1 and 2, and you come away with a split, even if you get smoked one night and win an OT the second night, you take it every time.
I want to hear it on 3. Let's f***ing go. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
After splitting the first 2 games in Edmonton, these 2 longtime division rivals resume their best-of-7 series in Los Angeles for games 3 and 4.
Ladies and gentlemen, your LA Kings!
Down the stretch, the Kings were the best team in the NHL at home. From the All-Star break, when Jim Hiller took over, until the last game of the season, the Kings led the league in winning percentage at home. So now you're coming home, you played well in game 2, you feel like you can elevate that even further in game 3, and it's not the same story as game 1, but you're down 3-0 after 1 period.
Turned over, Doughty, a pass in front, all alone, Hyman, robbed, rebound, and they score! Darnell Nurse hands it off. Tipped ahead of Evander Kane, speeds in, he's in too deep, he centers, shot, score from the base!
The Kings are a team that prides itself on defensive hockey. Top 5 team in the league on defense. When you go down 3-0 at home, you have to alter your game a little bit, and that game just seemed to kind of get away from the Kings.
I go back to the last handful of games in the regular season against non-playoff teams, and that's no disrespect to any of the opponents that the Kings played against, but there's a different mindset when you're not preparing to play playoff hockey. Bad habits kind of settled in a little bit. I would have sooner seen them play against the top 5 teams in the league and maybe even lost all 5 games. I think they would have been playing at a higher level.
Played ahead, but out of the reach of LaFerriere. Desharnais with a bump. Drew Doughty, cross ice, Anderson to Byfield, just on to Doughty, who scores!
You can think you can turn it on and off, it's a switch, but it's not. Kings needed to elevate their game when it comes to postseason, and I think when you're looking to play a game that you haven't played, then you're in trouble.
This one comes to an end. The final, Oilers 6, Kings 1.
Yeah, but when you look at this one, when did it look like it was slipping away?
I don't know. From beginning, it feels like we were not there. I think they were more hungry. They had more chances, and we just have to be ready next game.
You had 2 power plays there in the first period there. It's gone over in the series, but how much has that taken momentum away from you guys?
Obviously, a lot. If you look at it now, after the game is easy to see. But we have to be better. We're trying our best. They're also doing a pretty good job, to be honest. But we just have to figure it out.
You can't stop the Edmonton power play, right? Like, you can't just say, oh, we're just going to shut them down at an 85% clip because we were 85% in the regular season. They are too dynamic, but you can match them. And in the 23 series, the Kings matched Edmonton on special teams. They scored 7 power play goals, a 4-on-4 goal, and a shorthanded goal, whereas the Oilers scored 9 power play goals. That was 9-9 in 23. In 24 was 9-0.
Game 3 wasn't the homecoming the Kings would have liked. You just got to park it and move on.
Yeah, the Kings were able to turn the page between games 1 and 2. Let's hope the same thing happens between game 3 and game 4.
Game 4 was the best game, in my opinion, that team had played in 2 months. I thought it was outstanding the way they executed. The Kings did so many things at the highest level. They executed so well. Expected goals, it was the biggest disparity they've ever had in these 3 years between the Kings and the Oilers, and they still lost 1-0.
For McDavid. McDavid now cuts into the middle, holding on, feeds it across, tipped out. Bouchard scores! The power play goal again. 1-0 Oilers.
That one to me is harder to swallow because you did do what you wanted to do, and on that night it still wasn't enough.
The Kings had 33 shots, only 13 for the Oilers. Oilers had the only goal of the game, and the Oilers in control.
It's one of those where that power play comes back and haunts you.
You look at the Kings special teams this year, very respectable on the power play. We all know the penalty kill had one heck of a year, finishing number 2 in the league, and they both went cold at the wrong time of the year. When both are at a bad spot, especially when you're up against a league that's got as potent a power play as the Edmonton Oilers have, the potential they have to be able to score goals, you put yourself on your heels. Let's face it, in this league, half the teams make it to the postseason, half don't. There's a lot of good teams that don't. It's not an easy thing to get into the postseason. Every time you take a step, the next step is even harder. We saw some great teams go down. We saw the defending Stanley Cup champion go down.
Here come the Oilers. Kulak in, center, shot, score! Gavrikov taking over. He'll rifle it in, a weird hop, open net, score! Arvidsson plays it ahead, onside, moving in a shot, score! Blake Lizotte!
So to see the series kind of play out as it did, you lose in 5 games. Special teams are really the deciding factor. Strengths from the regular season become weaknesses in the playoffs. I'm sure it was really hard for the players to see it go down that way.
Draisaitl just as the penalty expired.
You look at round 1 across the NHL, the 8 teams that won the first round were the 8 teams that won the special teams battle in that series. Edmonton, LA was just the most drastic of those 8.
The fact that it's the same team, 3 years, does that matter?
I don't know. Obviously, makes you want to beat them more, but I think the whole point, is that we lost 3 years in a row in the first round. Yeah, it was against Edmonton, but no matter who we lost to, it would have been the same amount of disappointment, same amount of wanting to win the series. So I don't think that really made a difference.
As bleak as it looks at the end of the season for the Kings going out in the first round, I think there's still a lot to build on. If things come too easy, then you forget sometimes what you did to get there.
We hear our fans loud and clear right now. We know they want to get to the next level, but it's not about winning one series, beating one team. It's about getting us that we can win the last game of the season.
We're making progress. The progress is not shown in the playoffs, and that's up to us to keep driving this home with this group right now. And we've got to take that next step.
With Fiala, Deneau to Fiala, in, shoots, score!
It's not that you have to blow everything up. You really have to assess the way things went, see where it didn't succeed, and see where it worked. And I think at the end of the day, players will say, when it was going well, they were all connected.
If you look at, say, the holes of the roster, of the guys who are signed, there are a lot of them, but there are several opportunities to fill those with guys who are already here.
Akil Thomas!
They're probably even more excited. Going into last year, I think we all have to admit the roster was pretty much set. You knew this was going to be the group to at least start the season, but this year it's a different ballgame. There's more opportunity for these guys to come in, which will encourage them to go real hard this summer, get themselves prepared.
There's definitely excitement. Not going to do us a whole lot of good of looking bad and pity ourselves or being down. It's looking ahead and really go for it.
The best of this group is good enough. If this team can find that and bring that best over 7 games, it is good enough to win a series. It is good enough to go on a run in the playoffs.
The only way success is going to be measured moving forward is playoff wins. You can win all 82 games. If you can't get out of that first round, it's not going to be deemed a successful year.
If you believe that you are taking the right course of action, you can't make reactionary deviations from that path just because the outcome didn't go your way this year. The group that is here is still the group that the Kings believe, the players believe, the management team believes, that can get them to where they want to go.
You know, meeting with the players at the end of the year, a lot of the reference from them was about Jim's passion coaching. In their aspect, it was they really felt he was part of the group. I'm excited. The LA Kings are excited to introduce Jim as head coach of the LA Kings.
Thanks, Blakey. Wow. Most of you know, 35, just shy of 35 years ago, I was drafted by the LA Kings. So to be sitting here today is an honor. Despite how the playoffs ended, and that hurt, that took some time, I'll be honest with you there. We were, proud of the work we did in the short amount of time, despite the fact that we didn't end up where we wanted to end up.
Jim will put his stamp on the team furthermore than when he took over, right? We got a clear slate going forward. But our message, we've got to get uncomfortable with our group. We've got to do it. It starts right now, right here today with me, with Jim, right down to our players. If that's where we want to get to, that's what we got to get to.
So then you have to hate to lose more than you like to win.
Both. Yeah. Love to win, hate to lose. This hasn't been comfortable the last 3 weeks here at all. Way, way different than the last 2 years. So I know what needs to be done in there. Jim knows what needs to be done in there. We have to start that message right now.